How on earth is this guy so powerful? When the game began, he didn't follow the usual path of selecting the beginner dungeon. Instead, he completely skipped the newbie dungeon and headed straight for the much more challenging second dungeon, though the two dungeons were only separated by a bridge. In order to cross, he would first have to defeat the boss guarding it. The system recommends a team of 3, with each member's level exceeding 10. But Jack, this absolute beginner, showed no fear. His reaction speed was several times faster than the average person. Without hesitation, he charged straight at the boss. He dodged the giant serpent's attacks with incredible agility. When the serpent's tail swung toward him again, Jack swiftly sidestepped and counterattacked. To his shock, however, his basic weapon broke mid-attack. Clearly, this boss had an insanely high defense, far stronger than any newbie would have expected. But Jack didn't rely on just one weapon. He pulled out a pair of red daggers, which he had picked up as drops from a previous monster kill. Even so, he was still like a glass cannon. One hit could kill him. As Jack prepared to regroup and strike again, the giant serpent suddenly lifted its tail and sprayed a deadly stream of venom. Jack was instantly poisoned. The venom wasn't lethal, but it caused damage every 10 seconds. This meant that even if the boss didn't attack him, Jack would still die in 5 minutes. To defeat the boss quickly, Jack had to land a series of critical hits. In other games, this would be difficult to achieve. But in this game, critical hits weren't random. They were triggered when striking a specific weak point identified by the system. Jack quickly developed a strategy. He focused all his attacks on one point. By doing so, he created an artificial weak point, which the system then recognized as a critical hit zone. He steadily chipped away at the boss's health, but the boss wasn't going to take it lying down. With a tail swipe, it sent Jack flying, then launched an aerial attack. Jack couldn't dodge the incoming attack, but this gave him a crazy idea. Its eyes. If he could strike the boss's eyes, he could deliver a fatal blow. Jack gripped his daggers and aimed for the boss's head. Using the momentum, he let go of his left-hand weapon, grabbed the boss's fur, and unleashed a powerful critical hit that finally defeated the boss. As the boss's final bit of health disappeared, Jack's level jumped to 14. Although the loot dropped by the boss was valuable, Jack had no time to check it. The poison was still eating away at him. He quickly allocated his agility points into endurance and agility, then sprinted toward the town in the second dungeon. A kind passerby pointed him toward the resurrection point, explaining that he needed to lie in a bed to register his spawn point. Without waiting for further details, Jack rented a room and jumped into bed just as his health bar reached 0, updating his respawn point. After resting, Jack walked out of the inn, only to have everyone stare at him with strange looks because of his unusual gear. He couldn't stand being treated like a freak anymore, so he decided to visit the shop and buy the cheapest armor available. Weapons must be his top priority. The previous weapon had helped him defeat the boss, but its level was simply too low. So, he spent a fortune at the blacksmith's and bought a pair of perfect daggers. These daggers had a special attribute. After landing a critical hit, the weapon's durability consumption would be halved for a short period of time. Though they didn't increase attack power, Jack felt this was a divine gift that perfectly suited his combat style. As Jack was about to leave, the blacksmith warned him, "With this armor, don't venture out at night. Monsters in the wild are incredibly dangerous." Despite the NPC's kind warning, Jack decided to head out into the wilderness anyway. Before long, he encountered a tricky enemy, a highly agile goblin, which could even summon reinforcements. But Jack didn't flinch. In fact, he saw this as a challenge to push himself further. He reveled in the thrill of battle, until a burst of purple light wiped out all the goblins in one strike. Just as Jack was stunned by the turn of events, a massive, gray wolf with an aura of purple killing intent appeared before him. Up until this point, Jack had only fought elite monsters, but when this wolf showed up, he finally realized just how terrifying this game truly was. This village hides a deadly temptation. Own a house here, and you'll strike it rich overnight. It only costs $20,000 cheaper than an average house. Determined to uncover the truth, Teacher Rohan and the female editor traveled to this billionaire-packed village together. Rumor had it the manor's owner had off-the-charts standards for etiquette. As soon as the gate opened, Teacher Rohan and the female editor politely greeted the butler right away. Guided by the young butler, they walked through the exquisite courtyard and spacious foyer, fearing she might commit a faux pas. The female editor paid extra attention to where she placed her shoes. The two finally entered the manor's reception room. Before long, the young butler walked in carrying a pot of black tea. He bowed deeply, then turned and left the room. Teacher Rohan observed for a moment. He instantly realized the real etiquette test had already begun. The female editor was well versed in both tea and dining etiquette here, but just as she reached out to pick up her teacup, the butler suddenly slammed the door open and said, "Your etiquette doesn't meet the standards. The owner can't sell you the house, please leave." The female editor was completely stunned, her face filled with disbelief. What on earth did I do wrong? The butler started urging them to leave non-stop. They'd gone out of their way to travel all this distance. The female editor couldn't accept such a result at all. She looked at the short-statured butler and begged him repeatedly for another chance. The butler replied he'd go inside immediately to consult the owner. Teacher Rohan found the meeting utterly boring and just wanted to leave right away. But the female editor was determined to buy the house. She kept persuading Teacher Rohan to stay and wait for news. As the two argued fiercely, Teacher Rohan suddenly felt something wet in his pocket. He reached in and pulled it out. It turned out to be the little bird they'd found earlier. Just then, the female editor's phone suddenly rang. She answered it and learned a devastating truth. Her mother and boyfriend had just died in a car crash. At the same time, a highly venomous centipede crawled out of the birdcage. What the hell was going on with this string of bizarre events? Teacher Rohan Rohan immediately activated his ability Heaven's Door. He quickly read the information in front of him. Before long, he uncovered the crucial truth. This young butler wasn't a stand user at all, he was just an ordinary guide. The one truly controlling him was the mountain god of this area. Anyone who stepped foot on this land had to watch every word and action at all times. Even a single tiny breach of etiquette could make the mountain god take away the most important thing from you. And teacher Rohan's act of reading others' memories without permission was itself an extremely serious breach of etiquette. A psychopathic killer was tormenting Koichi. Yoshikage Kira stomped hard on Koichi's hand. Right after that, he kicked his shoe straight into Koichi's mouth. He mocked Koichi, saying that boys shouldn't yell. Then, Kira Yoshikage's face contorted in rage, grabbed Koichi's head. Fiercely slammed to the ground. Afterwards, he picked up a tissue. With a blank expression, he wiped the trivial bloodstains off Koichi's face. Yoshikage Kira stood up and tossed his hair away in disgust. What have you gotten out after investigating for so long? Koichi suddenly called out his name. Yoshikage Kira. Yoshikage Kira froze for a split second, then frantically pushed Koichi away. His wallet was exposed. Yoshikage Kira glared at Koichi with a ferocious look. He was questioned about when he stole it, but he quickly regained his composure and said that knowing his name was unimportant. You'd be dead soon anyway. Koichi mocked back and said, saying even a kid like him could easily find out his name. You're nothing special. You'll come to see me soon too. Yoshikage Kira was completely enraged. Summoned Killer Queen and pierced Koichi's body. Just then, he discovered that Koichi's socks were on backwards. Koichi was thrown to the ground and lay motionless. Yoshikage Kira originally intended to leave immediately, but still care a lot about this sock that's on inside out. He squatted down and helped Konyi straighten his socks, then slowly help him put his shoes back on. To get revenge on Koichi for wasting his time, he immediately summoned the Killer Queen, ready to turn Koichi into a bomb. Just as Killer Queen was about to touch Koichi, Jotaro walked over. Killer Queen instinctively spun around to attack, but Star Platinum caught the blow with ease. Yoshikage Kira stared at Jotaro Kujo, bruised all over, his face caked in blood. Jotaro's eyes remained sharp and unyielding. Yoshikage Kira's panic vanished in an instant. He casually raised his wrist to check the time. Jotaro pointed firmly at Kira Yoshikage and said, was going to beat Yoshikage Kira's face so bad he couldn't even tell the time. Yoshikage Kira looked completely unbothered as he slowly walked toward the blood-soaked Jotaro. Jotaro was severely injured and supported his body with his blood-soaked hands. Kira Yoshikage took the opportunity to mock Jotaro's stand for being too weak. He summoned Killer Queen right away, trying to kill Jotaro. In the blink of an eye, Star Platinum delivered a powerful punch to the Queen of Assassins' face. Before Yoshikage Kira could wrap his head around what happened, Jotaro had already grabbed his hand. Jotaro stared at his watch. His style is absolutely terrible. But Jotaro quickly added that Yoshikage Kira shouldn't worry. He said in a little while, Yoshikage Kira's face would have even worse taste than his watch. After punching Yoshikage Kira flying, Jotaro looked at the fallen Koichi. He praised Kengi as a reliable partner. As soon as he finished speaking, Jotaro couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed to the ground. After the puppy finished eating the chef's food, it suddenly burst its intestines. Today, Josuk entered a strange kitchen, lit in an eerie, unsettling way. But there was no chef in sight. On the table, only a plate of lamb chops remained. Josuk walked into a side room, where he found the chef feeding the lamb chops to a small dog. After eating, the dog's behavior became increasingly abnormal. The chef noticed Josuk sneaking into the kitchen. With a threatening look on his face, he walked toward Josuk, muttering under his breath that he would not let him escape so easily. Josuk, filled with anger, thought to himself, who's really not going to let who get away with this? Before he could finish the thought, he heard a noise behind him. It was Okuyasu. He was devouring the lamb chops with a frenzy. But eating these lamb chops would turn him into a monster, just like that puppy. Josuk rushed over to stop Okuyasu, but the chef silently approached from behind, raising something in his hand. Wait a minute, was the chef really just trying to get Josuk to wash his hands? Then what was up with all those strange lights during the whole ordeal? Looking back, Okuyasu seemed fine, and the puppy was completely unaffected. So, it seems the chef is actually some kind of food-based healer? He didn't even know what a stand-in was. After both sides revealed their identities, the situation finally calmed down. But in the end, Josuk was still responsible for cleaning up the kitchen. Meanwhile, Okuyasu happily finished all his custom-made dishes.